Howdy all, Molex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Um, can I get a splint for my broke leg? I mean, that's not my leg, but okay. So, I... Oh, nice, I do have fuel. Oh, I need food. You know what? I recorded an episode, and, I didn't get finished saying what I wanted to say, and I ran out of space on my hard drive. And so I just deleted it. So, what did I do last episode? I, went through my gear, and I swapped out my leather gear and my... I still had leather legs on, and I still had on the mining helmet, and I added appropriate mods to my armor because I felt like I got killed too fast. And then I drove around to stores, and I found one that was selling the handlebars to the motorcycle, and I brought that back, and now I'm broke, but I have fixed the motorcycle, which I like better than the truck. Mostly because it fits in places easier. So, yeah, that is where I'm at. You know, it's getting nighttime here, so I might just go find a building to loot. Because I don't think we're going to have enough time to, well, I don't know what time the store closes. We'll see if I can get a... I don't want to do a quest at night. That would be insane. But I could grab a quest and then go hit a building nearby, maybe? We could try that. So we played D&D this week. It was okay-ish. There was some irritating moments for sure. I basically we finished the floor. Well, we defeated the boss of the floor last session, and so we went back to
Listen up, jackass. Well, good luck.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it, man. I'm terrible at these. But hey, I'll give her a try anyways. It's not in the snow, is it? It is a long way away though. Oh, it's in the desert. Ooh. Are there roads to even get there? I don't think there's any good roads. I guess if we go north into the snow and then take a left, that might work. We'll try that. Yeah, so we start the session. The DM tells us that maybe we want to go tell the Githzari people who are on that floor that we had defeated the boss because they would offer us a reward. So we explore our way across the map because we hadn't been through that section yet. There was nothing, is a trick, is that the floor is basically empty now that we've defeated it and all the teleporting traps and stuff are done. And I mean, it was designed to split your party up, so anything we did come across probably wouldn't be too difficult anyways. And so we go to those guys, and oh, you know what? The DM didn't read And so they didn't offer us a reward. They offered us a quest the first time we met them to rescue one of their guys on a separate floor. I didn't have my notes open, so I didn't look at it. And so, yeah. So that was a big waste of like 20 minutes of our time working our way across the map we didn't need to talk to guys we didn't need to because the DM said we should. And so then we get down to the next floor, and the next floor starts with a fight. And it happens to be this golem that is made out of crystal and is so bright that you go blind, or you can go blind if you're too close to it. Now, it says in the book you have to start next to it. If you start your turn next to this creature, but our DM was like, oh yeah, as soon as you move within 10 feet of it, well, you can go blind. So, maybe that's the way it worked. I don't know. I have to look closer, but I know that it started with the words, if you start your turn. So, either way, I hate that stuff. No. Let me rephrase that. I don't hate debuffs. I hate that your ability to resist debuffs does not increase as the game goes on. You can get better armor, you can get better spells, you can get better abilities, you can get better weapons, you can get better potions, you can get better scrolls, but you can't get better saving throws, really. And so that's annoying to me. Um, like, my fighter has 0 wisdom bonus, and he's not proficient in wisdom saving throws. So at level 1, his saving throw is a straight roll on a d20. At level 14, I started with like 12 hit points. At level 14, I have almost 200 hit points, but I still have plus 0 to my wisdom saving throws. I find that ridiculous. I feel like some of that stuff should increase as well. Maybe it doesn't have to increase at the rate of your proficiency, but, you know, how you have proficiency gets added to some of your saving throws. You are proficient in some saving throws. So it's weird that the other ones don't increase. Like, wouldn't my guy be less afraid as time went on? Wouldn't he, having been exposed repeatedly to, like, fear effects or sleep effects or, in this case, blinding effects or stunning effects or slowing effects, shouldn't he get some kind of bonus as time goes on? I don't know why that's not a thing. So basically everything that got thrown at us, my bard had a +2 to the dice roll. Now, to compare that, if it was a dexterity saving throw, he has a +11, I think. So, that's the difference between the 2 pieces of gear I'm wearing that increase my saving throws by +1 and getting to add my proficiency to it and having high dexterity. So, yeah, I think that's dumb. So basically what it did was it left my bard blind and slowed for the entire fight. Which is, I mean, you can't cast a spell if you can't see the creature for the most part. None of the spells I have equipped are capable of being cast without seeing your target. And then on top of that, he also cast slow, which meant that I can only take one. I can only do one thing on my turn. I could cast a spell, or I could take a single attack, and so, it basically left my bard with nothing to do for the entire fight, and I hate that. At least I had 2 characters, so it's not as bad as when that's your only character. But there's nothing more frustrating than playing in a campaign and having your guy locked out of an entire fight. I say that's not necessarily true. Having the bad guy go invisible and run away after an extended fight, that's probably more annoying. But yeah, so I hate the saving throw thing. I hate the way it works. I wish they'd change that. But still, not the most irritating thing that happened. The most irritating thing that happened was, as we were fighting, uh, guys from other rooms were brought to the fight. And when I say brought, I mean the whole floor is lit up so we can see as long as we have line of sight. But somehow, three different groups of guys were able to appear right next to our characters during the fight. They weren't invisible, they didn't have a special ability, they didn't teleport in. He just placed them there and said they came in from the different section. That's not how things work. Um, he only does that stuff because he doesn't want us to use ranged attacks ever. And it's super irritating to me. Um, anything that's detrimental to his bad guys, he waives the rules so that they can get past things that they shouldn't be able to. It it takes away some of the fun of D&D, that you can't make plans because he has an inability to think of how the creatures would react to what was going on. He can only think of how he would react given what he could see. Uh, and so, if you put a trap, then his guys won't walk where the traps are. Um, you know, if you steal a door, then guys are going to come in from a different place, without you being able to see them somehow. And yeah, so that's the part that got really irritating to me. And then let's see. I think that's pretty much it. We fought the different groups of guys that came in. And then yeah, we had to call it a night. It was pretty funny because Tuesday night we weren't playing D&D, we were playing Gloomhaven, and which is hard game. And but we failed. We played a mission and we failed the mission, but we still had like 30 minutes or so of our normal game time. And that guy, he's like, oh, you know what? I've decided I've got to go. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got some stuff going on this weekend I have to prepare for. It's Tuesday, and so me and the other guy just sat around and chit chatted. Because it's only three of us from our D&D group who play Gloomhaven, and so we're sitting around chit chatting, and we're just about getting ready to wrap up because it's about our normal time, and all of a sudden he pops back in. He goes, "What you guys doing?" I'm like, "Well, we're chatting." He's like, "Well, I was really surprised when I looked up at my computer that you guys were still in here. I mean, I'd have figured you all had gone after I left." Yeah, buddy, we were having a conversation. I don't know what you want, man. We were talking about games and movies and stuff that we'd been playing since Christmas. Uh, Sorry that our gaming session doesn't revolve around you like you imagine it does. Um, so yeah. And then I want to talk about The Witcher, Blood Origin. I didn't hate it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I definitely liked it better than the Wheel of Time adaptation. Um, I like seeing some of the pre-human world, pre-monster world of the Witcher series. It's interesting because I struggle to. They took some concepts from the books, but they didn't apply them the same way the books did. Um, and I think it would have been better had they maybe followed what happened in the books. Okay. So what happened in spoilers, what happened in Blood Origin is not from the books. But they are based off of things that are mentioned in the books. So one of the big things in the books to me is they don't give you any backstory to anything. They hint at things, but then they don't actually tell you. And so, one of the big things that happened to the Witcher world is the conjunction of the spheres. So, before the conjunction of the spheres, who knows? I think everybody just lies in the books, and so nothing is ever true. But before the conjunction of the spheres, there weren't any people, there weren't any humans, and there weren't any monsters, is what it says in the books. Or at least not monsters who weren't native to that particular world. But, and here's the kicker, later in the book, they also talk about how the elves are like a multi-universal conquering people, and they've lost their power to do that. And so, they kind of hint at that in this show, but none of the people actually have that ability. And so, they took the concept of hopping between worlds, but they left out the fact that the elves had been doing it and had conquered multiple worlds, and that they only stopped because they lost their ability to do so. And so, like, Ciri's ancestor is an elf, and had made it to the Witcher world um, before. Well, not before, but had made it to the Witcher world. And so I'm not really sure how many elves, what kind of elven empire actually existed before the conjunction of the spheres. I don't know. And so it's weird that there are offshoots of elves. Like, I would have expected to have seen them marching into the other worlds before what happened, and I don't really think that happened. Like, I think they talked about it, and maybe they did send off like one tiny team, but in the books there's like an entire elven kingdom on this other world that's trapped because they've lost the ability to walk between worlds. And so the conjunction of the spheres is the combining of multiple worlds, and that's why the humans appeared. That's why the monsters appeared, because they're creatures from other worlds that ended up on the Witcher world. And so, I like that they went over some of that, anyways, in the series. I just wish they would have had a bigger elven presence marching out. Like, I think that's my problem with the Blood Origin, is that there's too much focus on things that didn't matter, and not enough on what could have been a really good storyline. Now, I felt like the first two episodes could have nearly been removed from the series, and it wouldn't have made a difference. Really, they introduced some characters who didn't matter to the story, and so, like, they introduced a lot of characters and laid out a lot of behind the scenes stuff about their empire and or their kingdoms, and then wiped them all out by the end of the first episode. So I didn't need a whole episode laying out these people who you're about to kill. You could have just started me at the point where the Empress took over. You could have made the Empress more, like, her people doing more evil things than they showed. Like, I don't understand why she did what she did. I don't understand why there was rebellion. It's weird. It's like, why are you rebelling? It's like Andor, right? Why are the people in Andor rebelling? Like, the Empire doesn't seem that bad from any point of view, other than, like, they're oppressing their workers slightly. I actually wanted to pick this up and put it in my inventory because I'm probably gonna die. Dang it, Vulture. I just want to go inside. Why can't I get inside? There we go. Okay. But yeah, I just it's really weird. Like spoilers for Blood Origin. I think I may have already said that. But this whole thing where they like lay out this woman and how she doesn't want to be a fighter in her, but she was trained as a fighter and or a guard or whatever, and she decided to be a bard, and so she goes off to be the bard, right? And then while they're doing all this, they've got this whole thing where they're like setting up this meeting between the empire or between the kingdoms to have peace um and like I feel like the sister disagreed with what was going on, but she didn't really like do anything. And so it was kind of almost a Frozen moment when it turned out she was the bad guy. And I despise the Frozen moments. So to me, the Frozen moment is I don't remember anybody's name, but there's the Anna, I think is the redhead sister. Anna's like hanging out with that one dude, and through the entire thing, he's just the nicest guy. And when he sings his songs when nobody's looking, he's the nicest guy. And then he just randomly is a bad guy. And there's like no lead up to it. Like not once does he like give a snide sidelong glance or anything like that, or you know, bad guy rub his hands together in the background about how he's manipulating Anna, or you know how he's going to get the kingdom for himself. None of that until the moment he attempts it, right? And so I hate that part in Frozen because I think it's dumb. I People don't do that. People aren't like Anna wouldn't have seen because that would have been his focus, but other people should have noticed, right? Like Sven and the moose. If the moose isn't Sven, is the dude's name Sven? I don't know. I've only seen Frozen like once, I think. But that you know, like the moose and the other guy should have been like, oh, he's a bad guy, and try to warn Anna, and then Anna won't listen to him, you know, or something like that. Um, you don't just be like, no, I'm suddenly the bad guy. And so they kind of did that with the sister in this. Like, she didn't seem like a bad guy. She seemed like an oblivious character, whose only real desire was to sleep with her bodyguard, who then got exiled for sleeping with her. And and then although it was a weird exile because they're like, your name will be removed from the annals of the tribe and you will die nameless and forgotten. And then like one episode later, they're like, hey, we need you to come back. Your father wants you to come back, and so because we need your help. And I'm just like, what in the world are you talking about? That's not how exiles work. But yeah, so the first couple episodes were dumb. Not dumb, but I don't know. I feel like the most of the show was heartless as well. I don't understand the thing where they've got the actors, right? And the actors are acting their characters, but they feel like actors acting characters. And so there's like no heart to the actual characters. And I don't like that. I wish the actors would put a little more oomph into their characters. Or they would just stop hiring mediocre actors for everything. Something's got to change. thought that guy was dead. Uh, I'm tired of watching a film or a series and just finding the characters to be people I don't care about. Um, I should care about your characters. I don't. Now there are some characters that are well done. The dwarf character in the show is very well done. Her character is someone you can root behind or get behind to root for. Um, you feel her story, what little bit she gets to tell. Um, her part is great. That character is great in that show. But the main two characters are just like meh, whatever. Like I don't care that the main character was supposed to be a guard and decided she didn't want to be. I don't care that her mother was like I don't remember her mother was the queen of her tribe. Um I just they didn't make me care. It was meh, okay. So um I don't think I ever got to the point where those particular two main characters ever made you want to root for them. Like super spoilers, right? They turned the one dude into the Witcher. I don't care. She had to kill him at the end. I don't care. I didn't feel anything for them. You never made me care about those characters. They weren't. They they just were people playing their parts. They weren't sympathetic. They weren't. Their story didn't. There was nothing to root for. They just were. They were placeholders, not placeholders. They were like they weren't part of their tribe. Um, they didn't care about their duty. They weren't on a real quest. It wasn't even a great quest for revenge because they had nobody to care about. I just it was weird. Like the dwarf character, right? She was looking for revenge for the girl she loved. And so, you got that. You got that from the character. She had the hammer. The hammer was named after her girl. I mean, it was never her girl, but the girl she loved. She she used the ashes from the girl in the making of the hammer. She hunted down the men who had killed her. Right? I mean, it was a great story, but it was just like this tiny little thing she just told once, and you're like, yes, this is a character I can have compassion for. The main two, okay. So you were a guard who failed in his duty, who knew that he wasn't supposed to sleep with the sleep with his ward, but did it anyways. And the other one was supposed to be uh some kind of guard, but decided to run off and be a bard instead. Um, I mean, sure, you can feel bad that your families got killed off, but you also betrayed your families already. I just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with necessarily what they did. They just weren't sympathetic characters, and I didn't feel compassion for their story. I don't know. Uh, I even Michelle Yao's character, which I was looking forward to, wasn't the greatest, and um, I feel like maybe that's because they didn't really give her much of a story. Um, they told you what happened, but you didn't get to see any of it. You didn't get to feel any of it, and so yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I really liked episode 3, which is where the party really gets together and like starts becoming a group. And then episode 4 was just too short. Like the conjunction of the spheres is like this thing that just happens on screen real quick. And I'd like to have seen the fallout from that. and not just be like, oh yes, and this is when the spheres aligned, uh, and the world was overwritten, right at the end. Um, uh, the Beast was weird. I didn't really like the Beast. Uh, there's like one monster in the whole show they had to fight. Well, two. I'm sorry, there were two monsters in the whole show they had to fight. Um, which is fine because there's supposed to be a time before there were monsters, right? But even the Empire itself was so non-existent on the screen. Uh, I don't know. When I think Empire, I don't think half a dozen soldiers. I think, the Roman legions marching out to conquer entire countries. Oh, well, this is lovely. I don't know. I didn't just die there. Oh. Say what? I'm going to use up so much of my ammo. I'm going to have to go home to get more ammo. Um. So yeah, it was okay. I just I don't know. I My best example of this is if you go and you watch the newest Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, and you look at the difference between Andrew Garfield's bad guys on the screen and Tobey Maguire's bad guys on the screen, I think they're a great example of what I mean. I think Tom Holland does a pretty good job as Spider-Man. But if you compare like Tom Holland's acting to Andrew Molina's acting in the scenes where they're against each other, you can see that Andrew Molina is like all out in the part, and Tom Holland just feels less invested in being Spider-Man than Andrew Molina being um is it Andrew Molina? I keep saying it, but I don't know if that's his name. It's Molina. Anyways, but you can just see the difference between the way they act, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about. Is you see him as Otto Octavius, he is Otto Octavius. You see Tom Holland as Spider-Man, it kind of feels like he's voicing over a Saturday morning cartoon. A little bit. He doesn't really have any variation to his personality. There's no real difference in emotion for him. Oh, I thought maybe I could bust that down. Um, and I just it's kind of what I'm talking about is although I think Tom Holland does a pretty good job. Uh, he's not the best example of what I'm trying to go for, but that's one of the best ways to compare them. Or if you compare like Electro, uh, played by Jamie Foxx, to any of the characters um, from the Tobey Maguire films that are in the movie, you can see clearly, clearly Jamie Foxx is just playing a character. Those other guys are trying to be their characters. And then the last thing I want to talk about real quick was I played through High on Life, which is the shooter game by the Rick and Morty people. It was dumb. I expected to be dumb. Maybe I was a little biased going in, but it really didn't get better than my expectations. I don't think I laughed a single time the entire game, and it's a comedy. Um, it's not even a great shooter. It's a mediocre. It's maybe not even a mediocre shooter. It's like a knockoff version of Ratchet and Clank, which are, oh man, I have reached a wall. And so you got some goofy weapons, which you'd get in Ratchet and Clank. But the problem is that in Ratchet and Clank, each of the weapons is like unique and useful. So you can find something that fits a particular moment, or a style of gameplay you like. Yeah, not so much in High on Life. Like you start off with a pistol that also has kind of a grenade launcher, and you probably don't need to touch another gun except for their special abilities, which you need to get around the levels, until the end of the game, where you might want to use the final gun. Um, I spend most of the game just using the pistol, which you start with. The second gun is supposed to be a shotgun, but the blast radius and the strength of the weapon were so minimal that it just was basically a short range, weaker pistol than the pistol I started with. Um, the third gun you get shoots out crystals that I guess explode, but they're so weak that, again, I would rather just kill them with the pistol. Uh, I'd rather kill them with the pistol. Where am I? Okay. Than be bothered with trying to fill them full of crystals and then hit them again with a bigger crystal to make it explode. And never found that technique useful. I even got the mod that let you explode them by reloading the gun. You fill a guy full of crystals and then he'd explode, but it wouldn't kill him. So what was the point? I could have had him dead with the pistol by the time I'd done all that. So I just stuck with the pistol. The fourth gun shot out little guys. That one was kind of useful. And so I did use that one, but not as much as I used the first pistol. And then the last gun you got was only in the final level. You only got it for the final level, and it was basically just the hold down the button and run through the level as everything around you dies, because it's basically the BFG of High on Life. The storyline wasn't great. It, almost no levels. There were 3 planets basically you went to. You go to a city. You go to the same city just over and over again, and then there was a purpley jungle planet with acid rivers, and then there was a desert town that you actually spent most of your time underground in the town, rather than on the surface in the desert, and that was it. there was nothing else to that game. You just kept going back to the same places. I think there were 2 or 3 sections on the jungle planet, and twice you go to the desert town. And then the city, the original city, had like a slums to it that you go and you fight in like twice, maybe 3 times. Honestly, it was short. There were only a handful of bosses you had to hunt down. Even the simple mechanic of bounty hunting was dumb. Like, you didn't get to actually do any of that stuff. So the guns were weak. The storyline didn't make me laugh, and there weren't really that much to the levels or anything. There was this like weird storyline where so spoilers, you pick up this alien, he makes you into a bounty hunter, and then he wants to live in your house, and if you die he gets to take your house. And your sister's also there, and then she runs off to date this alien, and then he's mad that she's not being careful, and he kind of becomes like the father figure ish, but they like just sit there and yell at each other, and you got to keep intervening in their arguments. And I'm just like, it's so weird. Like, I'm busy trying to save the human race from being used as a drug, which was a dumb thing. I don't know. It was like a bad Rick and Morty episode, which to me is most Rick and Morty episodes. Um, and yeah, I uh, I wanted to check it out. I didn't think it would be good, and my DM kept telling me how you could get Xbox Live for $1, and so that's what I did. As I grabbed that for $1 because it had High on Life because I wanted to check out High on Life and I didn't want to pay full price for it. And so I played through it and I didn't like it. In fact, the final boss, his skin is so thick that you can't pierce it with your weapons, so you have to take a bomb and move around and shove it up his butthole. And then the remote doesn't work, so then you have to pick one of your guns to shove up his butthole so that you can blow up the bomb from inside him. I mean, it's very Rick and Morty, and it's very not funny. And I'm not even sure the ending of the game. Like, we didn't get back to Earth. I don't understand. It's really weird. Like, they give you this thing to rescue humans, and then you just see humans everywhere that you can't rescue. Like, what was the point of that? I don't understand. I don't understand. It wasn't a very well done game. It was basically just, hey, we want to write this story, and I guess we'll call it a game. And but we're not gonna put any real effort into the game part. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess if you like Rick and Morty, you might like it. But it was like it was like the worst version you could think of for Ratchet and Clank. Um, I say Ratchet and Clank because it's that kind of adventure kind of game where you pick up different weapons and you get like magno boots and the you pick up the knife that lets you tether the things and stuff like that, which is similar to how Ratchet and Clank works. But all right, with that, be brave in the small things, lean to the light, and I will talk to you later.